All right, so today we are going deep into the world of thrips, and specifically how a company called Farmonaut is helping farmers fight them organically.
Okay.
You might be thinking, thrips, what are those? Well, they're these tiny, almost invisible insects that can really just cause a lot of problems for crops.
Yeah.
And get this, Farmonaut is using satellites to help farmers tackle these little troublemakers.
It's really amazing to see how technology is now being used to solve some of these age-old farming challenges, especially when we're talking about organic pest control.
Exactly. So before we get into all the really cool solutions,
Yeah.
let's first understand who we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
What exactly are thrips, and why should we care about them?
So thrips are tiny insects. Usually they're less than 2 millimeters long.
Wow.
Yeah, to put that into perspective, that's smaller than the width of a penny.
Wow.
They can be pale yellow to brown, and the adults have wings, which allows them to spread really quickly.
Ooh.
And the species that we're going to be focusing on today is Thrips dorsalis. It's a real global pest.
So, tiny but mighty, huh? I guess those wings aren't helping matters either. What kind of damage can such a small insect actually cause?
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. Despite their size, thrips can cause significant damage to crops. So they feed on plants by piercing the cells and sucking out the contents.
Wow.
And this can lead to scarring and distortion of leaves, flowers, and even fruits themselves. So you can imagine like a perfectly formed pepper, for example, suddenly developing bumps and discoloration.
Yeah.
Not very appetizing.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So we're talking cosmetic damage, but I'm guessing it goes beyond that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this damage can really stunt a plant's growth, which means lower yields for farmers.
Okay.
And then ultimately that impacts, the availability and price of food for all of us.
So it hits the farmers' wallets and our grocery bills.
Exactly.
These thrips are tiny but mighty.
They are. And there's one more thing. They can also transmit plant viruses.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it further compromises the health and productivity of the crops.
So double whammy for the farmers.
A double whammy, exactly.
Okay. Well, we've established that thrips are public enemy #1 in the agricultural world. But our listener is really interested in organic control methods. So what does that actually look like in the battle against these tiny terrors?
Right. So organic control is all about working with nature to manage pests.
Okay.
It's about finding solutions that are effective, but also minimize the impact on the environment and beneficial insects.
So it's about a balance and sustainability.
Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of strategies are we talking about here?
Well, there's a whole toolbox of methods.
Yes.
So one approach is called cultural control, and this focuses on making the environment less hospitable to thrips.
Okay.
So, for example, crop rotation can disrupt their life cycle, and proper spacing between plants allows better airflow,
Okay.
which makes it harder for thrips to thrive.
So you're making life uncomfortable for the thrips without resorting to any harsh chemicals.
Exactly. And then we have physical control methods like using reflective mulches. And those shiny surfaces can actually confuse thrips because it disrupts their ability to find their host plants.
It's like a disco ball in the field. Just throw them off.
Yeah, exactly. It's a simple but really effective way to deter them.
I love that. So what else?
And then we also have sticky traps.
Okay.
And these traps capture adult thrips, which helps monitor their populations and reduce their numbers.
So simple but effective.
Yes.
What else do we have in our organic arsenal?
One of the most fascinating parts, I think, is biological control.
Okay.
And this is where we can introduce the thrips' natural enemies.
Oh, this sounds interesting. So we're like sending in reinforcements?
Precisely. So we can use predatory mites that feed on thrips.
Okay.
And then there's these fantastic little bugs called minute pirate bugs.
Minute pirate bugs. That sounds like a superhero.
They definitely live up to the name.
Okay.
And then we can also use entomopathogenic fungi and nematodes,
Okay.
which are basically microscopic organisms that can infect and kill thrips.
So we're setting up like a little ecosystem within the crops,
Yeah,
with the good bugs fighting the bad bugs.
that's a great way to put it.
awesome.
And then finally, we have botanical insecticides, which are derived from plants,
Okay.
and they can disrupt the thrips' life cycle. So neem oil is a common example. You might even have some in your pantry.
That's amazing.
Okay.
So even though we're talking about organic control, we're not just sitting back and letting nature run its course. We're actually actively using natural resources to fight back.
Exactly. It's about harnessing the power of nature in a smart way. And this brings us to Farmonaut.
Ah, yes. Farmonaut. So I'm really eager to learn how they fit into all of this.
Yeah, so Farmonaut is really revolutionizing organic thrips control with their technology.
Okay.
Their satellites can actually detect really subtle changes in crop health that indicate the presence of thrips, even before you can actually see any visible damage.
Wow. It's like having a high-tech eye in the sky, constantly watching over the fields.
Exactly. And that early detection is so crucial because it allows farmers to act quickly and prevent that infestation from spreading.
So they're not just seeing the problem, but they're also giving information on how to address it, right?
Absolutely. So Farmonaut's AI-powered system is called Jeevan AI, and it analyzes the satellite imagery along with other environmental factors to give farmers personalized recommendations for how to manage the thrips organically.
It's like having a personal farming consultant,
Yeah,
powered by AI and informed by real-time data from space.
exactly.
That is incredible.
And this data-driven approach allows farmers to be a lot more precise and efficient with their organic control methods.
Okay.
So they can target specific areas, optimize the timing of their interventions, and ultimately use less resources while achieving better results.
That's fantastic. So it's not just about being eco-friendly, it's also about making organic control more effective and economical for the farmer. But does this actually work in the real world? Are there any success stories?
Absolutely. There have been some really impressive results with organic thrips control.
Oh, wait.
For example, chili pepper farmers in South Asia were able to significantly reduce thrips populations, and they improved their yields by using a combination of reflective mulches, predatory mites, and very targeted neem oil applications.
That's amazing. It really sounds like a win-win for the farmers and the environment.
It is, and there's similar success stories in other parts of the world too. So citrus orchards in Florida have seen a decrease in thrips and an increase in beneficial insects after implementing an IPM program.
IPM, for those who don't know, that's integrated pest management.
Exactly. And it's all about using a combination of methods to manage those pests in a more holistic way.
Okay, awesome.
And it's working. Organic blueberry growers in the Pacific Northwest have also successfully controlled thrips by combining cultural practices like pruning with the introduction of predatory mites and, yep, you guessed it, those minute pirate bugs.
Those minute pirate bugs are making a big difference.
They are.
So it's incredible to see how these different organic methods can work together to create a really sustainable solution.
Yeah. And even grapevines in California, which are highly susceptible to thrips, are also benefiting from these organic control strategies. Researchers have found that entomopathogenic fungi can effectively reduce thrips populations when combined with good canopy management.
So we're seeing positive results
Yeah.
across a wide range of crops and climates.
Yeah.
So it really does seem like organic control is a viable solution.
It is. It's all part of a larger shift towards more sustainable agriculture,
Yeah.
really focusing on protecting our environment, preserving biodiversity, and producing healthier food for all of us.
Definitely a movement I can get behind.
Yeah.
But I imagine there's some challenges to implementing these organic solutions more widely, right?
Of course, like any new approach, there are hurdles to overcome.
Yeah, for sure. Like the effectiveness of biological control agents can really vary depending on the environment. Not every beneficial insect thrives in every climate or every ecosystem.
Right. So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right.
Exactly. And then there's also the issue of access. Not all farmers have equal access to the same resources.
Yeah, I can see that.
Whether it's the availability of certain biocontrol agents or even just the knowledge and support to implement organic practices successfully.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the thrips themselves? Could they develop a resistance to botanical insecticides, just like they can with synthetic chemicals?
That is a really valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that researchers are actively studying.
Mm.
We really need to be mindful of how we use these natural pesticides to avoid creating a new problem down the road.
So it's all about being strategic and
Yeah,
using these
exactly.
tools responsibly.
Precisely. And then there's also the cost factor.
Yeah.
Some organic control methods can be more labor-intensive than conventional methods,
Okay.
which can impact the overall cost of production for farmers.
So it's not just the cost of the products themselves, but also the cost of implementing the methods.
Right. But I think it's really important to remember that organic farming is an investment. It's an investment in the health of our planet and the well-being of farming communities, and of course, the future of our food supply.
Absolutely. Well said. So challenges aside, what does the future hold for organic thrips control? What are some of the exciting things that we have to look forward to on the horizon?
Ooh, there's a lot to be optimistic about. Researchers are constantly working to develop new and more effective biocontrol agents.
Oh.
They're exploring ways to improve the application techniques for botanical insecticides to make them even more efficient and targeted.
So it's all about just kind of refining the tools that we already have.
Absolutely. And technology is also playing an even bigger role. Imagine Farmonaut's AI system combined with these advances in machine learning.
Yep.
We could have systems that not only detect pests, but can also predict outbreaks and recommend the most effective organic control strategies based on that specific location and the environmental conditions.
That's incredible. It's like having a crystal ball for pest management.
It really is. And plant breeders are also working really hard to develop thrips-resistant varieties of crops.
Wow. So we're really attacking this problem from all angles. Better control methods, smarter technology, and even plants that can just defend themselves.
Exactly. And we're also exploring entirely new frontiers. Scientists are looking into novel organic compounds with insecticidal properties,
Okay.
searching for natural solutions that haven't even been discovered yet.
That's so cool. It really feels like we're at the forefront of a new era in agriculture, one where technology and nature can really work hand in hand
Yeah,
to create a more sustainable and resilient food system.
I couldn't agree more. And it's not just about science and technology, it's about people too.
Yeah.
Farmers, researchers, consumers, we all have a role to play in this transition towards a healthier and more sustainable future.
So for our listener who's just kind of starting to learn about the world of thrips and organic control, what are some key takeaways that they should remember from this deep dive?
Well, I think first and foremost, even though thrips are tiny, they can really have a huge impact on our food supply and the livelihoods of farmers. But the good news is we don't have to resort to those harsh chemicals to control them.
Yeah.
Organic methods offer a viable and, I think, increasingly effective alternative.
And it's not just about swapping out those synthetic pesticides for natural ones.
Right.
It's really about a completely different approach to farming,
Yeah.
one that takes into account the whole ecosystem
Yeah.
and works with nature's own defenses.
Exactly. And what's really encouraging is that technology is now playing such a key role in making organic control more accessible and efficient for farmers. Farmonaut's satellite monitoring and AI-powered recommendations are really a game changer,
Yeah.
enabling that early detection and targeted interventions that we were talking about.
It's like having a virtual guardian angel watching over those fields from space.
I like that.
And we've really seen some real-world proof that these organic methods actually work, right?
Yeah.
From chili peppers in Asia to citrus fruits in Florida,
Yeah.
farmers are successfully controlling thrips and producing healthy crops while minimizing their environmental impact.
Exactly. It's a testament to the ingenuity and dedication of the people who are really working towards that more sustainable future for agriculture.
Yeah.
And it just shows that organic control isn't just this niche practice. It's really a viable solution that can be scaled up to meet the challenges of feeding a growing population.
So the next time you're at the grocery store or enjoying a meal, take a moment to appreciate the unseen world of thrips.
Yeah.
And the incredible efforts that are being made to control them organically. And remember that your choices as a consumer can really support this movement towards a healthier and more sustainable food system.
Absolutely. I think this deep dive has only scratched the surface. There's so much more to discover about this fascinating world of insects
Yeah.
and how they really impact our lives.
Well, that's a great point. Who knows what other tiny creatures are out there playing a role in our everyday lives that we're totally unaware of? It really makes you think, doesn't it?